it's viciously clear for me to see that this toad is nothing more than a puppet and a pawn. I think he is in the back pockets of Matchroom and Eddie Hearn.
Another one that's got it in for you.
Absolutely.
You are so unlucky.
Well, I won't lie, I am delighted to say here we go again. It just don't get any better than this lot chatting total rollicks to each other.
They did everything they could to try and destroy me in this last fight.
I've never heard so much waffle
It's okay.
in all my life.
You're going to hear a lot more.
No, but I was, you're
going to hear a lot more. I was actually so dehydrated that one of the toenails on my big toe fell off. It actually fell off. It's grown back about halfway now. But anyway.
Jesus, it's not a toenail.
I'm in the ambulance. And
you still got it?
These scumbags blocked that ambulance from leaving the stadium for 20 minutes. I'm laying there in a gurney, oxygen mask on, and the car cannot move. They will not open the gates to let us leave.
Chris, I want to know who wouldn't open the gates. It's important.
That 20 minutes...
You can't answer that, can you?
...could have been the difference between life and death.
Yes, there's no denying Eubank Jr. is box office entertainment, and I totally agree. How distasteful, Edward, stopping a man from going hospital. What a liberty. Who taught you that? Did Barry teach you that? Who taught you that? I mean, come on, Chris. You could have come up with something better than Eddie blocking the fucking ambulance. What are you on about? You've had 4 months to think of a new narrative, and that's all you could manage. He's been on every TV show and every podcast in the world and not mentioned it once, but now out of nowhere, Eddie stopped him from going hospital and Frank Smith has nicked his fucking toenail. And have a look, old BBC Benjamin's back. I mean, I've got to be honest, I have no idea what he's doing on that top table. It's not as if Chris needs him to be there. Only thing I can think of is that he's in charge of keeping the road clear for the fucking ambulance. I will say one thing for Ben though, he absolutely done Connor up like a kipper with this quote.
Why are you even up here, bruv? I don't even know why you're up here.
Connor.
No, but I genuinely don't know why you're sitting up here.
What are you famous for?
I don't know why you're sitting up here. It ain't about that, bruv. I don't know why you're sitting up here.
What are you famous for?
Ben, not the time.
Oh yes, Benjamin, he's finally found his balls. Fair play, and unlike Eddie said, it certainly was the time for it. He could have unleashed hell on Connor there, but then again, he's working for the BBC now, so he probably can't. He's got to be careful because he's on Blue Peter later, promoted Adam Azim against Julio. Nobody's fucking heard of him. But yes, as much as these pressers are double entertaining, it is getting bloody boring hearing about all this load of pony again.
We aren't happy with the rehydration clause. The initial time it was put in front of us, it was an ultimatum. It was the fight's not happening unless this. And so I don't think it should not be used in this fight. Absolutely not. And people could say, oh, well, he missed the 160. He missed the 160 because of what was going on. And it was nothing to do with the weight, right? He missed it by half an ounce because of the timings and everything and the commotion that was going on in that weigh-in. And then he was given like 4 minutes to weigh in. It was one of the most ridiculous scenes I've had in boxing. So Chris is in a difficult position then. Everything's been agreed. Everything. You're talking, we've gone through the contract. We've done every single clause. We get to the last moment. I think it was, if I remember, maybe just before the press conference or something, and then it was landed on us, an ultimatum like that. In the end, Chris is a money man and he accepted the challenge.
I mean, come on, Ben, I don't know what you're moaning about. You signed the contract, you great big tit. I'm not saying I agree with rehydration clauses, but if Eubank puts pen to paper and accept the terms because ultimately he wants a massive payday, twice now by the way, then that's on you and him, bruv. And let's be honest, all this victim mentality is getting a bit naff now, innit? I mean, it didn't hurt him last time. I know he's a toenail down, but he pissed the fight because he was just way too strong for Connor. And I'm not going to bore you by going over it all again, but for me, I just don't believe this is all really an issue for him anyway. As I said in a couple of vids prior, he's been fighting at 160 with no issues at all for years now. He's the one who said his optimum weight on fight day is around 165 and he never puts on more than 5 pounds. And let's not forget, he even offered out Kell Brook at 157 as well. So to be honest, I reckon as much as Eddie and Connor thought they were gaining an advantage trying to stifle him at 170, they actually just played right into his hands. He probably knew none of this was a burden, and ultimately that is what played out on fight night anyway. Look, it's just my opinion. I know a lot of people disagree and that's alright, but don't be thinking I'm shilling for Matchroom by the way. I wouldn't be doing that because we'll never forget the sole reason that this fight is as big as it is. In a way, them failed drug tests give Eubank the range to do and say whatever the fuck he wants, and rightly so. Now, as much as I've given him some stick there, I don't mind saying I bloody love him. I'm just hanging on every word when he's speaking. The man is gold dust for boxing, the most most entertaining fighter outside the ring along with old Luke Fury. And yes, he's going to have some legal letters through the door this week, but he just don't give a shit. It is brilliant. Mind you though, he's right to question this.
The board have graciously awarded me with a multitude of fines over the last 6 months. My question is, where is this money going? You know, the Boxing Board of Control, they're supposed to be supporting the foundations and governing the community of boxing in Great Britain. So in my eyes, the money that I was being fined should be going to the community. But as far as I can see it, that's not happening. The money simply seems to be lining the pockets of fat cats on the board, like Robert Smith.
Yes, absolutely bang on. Where does the money go when the board makes up all these imaginary fines? We as boxing fans have no idea. In fact, they should really disclose it publicly where it's going, whether that be to charity or grassroots boxing. And you can understand him digging them out when they're fining him for a complete load of bollocks like misuse of social media. I mean, what even is that? And then doing fuck all about his opposition failing 2 drug tests. Oh, and by the way, how he's got the balls to rip his sister's fella Frank Smith to pieces along with everyone else. He's a bit of a mad ting. I mean, he's completely slagging him off to the whole world, then on Christmas Day they'll probably sit opposite each other and pull a fucking cracker. But talking of the family affair, will we see old Senior pipe up in this build-up like last time? He was certainly very vocal before he got weighed in to turn up. In fact, if I remember rightly, after the first fight he said if the rematch happens he'll be doing this. But just before we carry on, chaps, I'd like to give a big shout out to today's sponsor. Yes, it's the brilliant Huel. Now, we are all double busy these days and making a healthy breakfast can actually be a bit of a chore, so instead you make do with a quick unhealthy option that ain't gonna do you no favours. Now, why not kick that habit with the help of Huel? Most notably their very popular Black Edition, where you can make yourself a nutritionally complete meal in just 30 seconds. And it's gonna provide you with everything your body needs to function. I'm talking 40 grams of protein, essential fats, carbohydrates, fibre, vitamins and minerals as part of a balanced diet. So big up Huel, they sent me a few flavours, very nice, but I must say that strawberries and cream was the absolute daddy, and it's been a blinding replacement from the unfulfilling on-the-go lunch that I usually have. You just need 500 ml of water, chuck in a couple of scoops, then shake it like you mean it, and done. You're giving your body the good stuff. Also, why not try their brand new product, Daily Greens, a tasty sparkling super greens drink, convenient for when you're on the go, and it's equally nutritious with less than 1 gram of sugar and 41 vitamins, minerals and nutrients. Plus, it's all very friendly on price, and even better with my discount code below. Just click the link in the comments and get £10 off for UK customers, 15% off for US. Oh, and you get a nice little Huel shaker with your first order. So big up Huel Black Edition and Daily Greens. Now back to the vid.
What suits Junior, in my view, he doesn't need to do anything else. He'll never better that performance. No, don't put it back on the line. If you don't get back into the ring, Junior, then neither will I. But if you get back into the ring, then I'm going to fight someone in some exhibition match. I'm putting the pressure on you.
Yes, there we go. So apparently Simply the Best is going to be back in action. Well, let's hope it's better than this load of tripe. Anyway, it's quite interesting what he said there. Junior can't be any better than he was that night. Well, he certainly can't put any more effort in, I'll give him that. Fair's fair, both men's work rate was absolutely incredible. It was carnage for the full 12 rounds. They left their heart and their soul in that ring, as well as a toenail apparently. And in a nutshell, you got to tip your hat to them. What they must have put their body through to be able to do that don't bear thinking about. I mean, I get tired walking around with a fucking hoover. How they did this for 36 minutes is nothing short of amazing. Fair play. But yes, that aside, can Chris actually be better? I don't know really. I suppose he did get caught a few times, although it didn't affect him much because of the natural weight difference. But he may have got old Bomac in for this exact reason. To try and stop that from happening next time, he's called up the genius craftsman behind the absolutely phenomenal Terence Crawford. Well, yeah, there he is. Obviously, they worked well together in the Liam Smith rematch, and if there's anyone that knows about defence, it's clearly this man here. To be able to guide Crawford through 12 rounds with Canelo and not take any punishment at all, you'd have to say he knows what he's doing. Just don't bring your fucking gun over this time, Brian. But outside of that, is there any reason to change anything? Because the way he overpowered Conor with his size and aggression looks to me to be a formula that wins this fight every single time. Conor started well, he was as sharp as ever, landed a few crackers, but come the midway point he was pushed back more and more, and Chris looked like he felt comfortable enough to walk through what was coming his way. Don't get me wrong, it clearly weren't easy, but it did work a treat, so yes, why would you do anything different? In fact, it was good to see him fight like this again, because we had a period when he was being trained by Roy Jones Jr. where he was all back foot and jabby, basically trying to be a Roy Jones tribute act. Of course, Roy is amazing, but training wise this just didn't work, and he took away the one thing that had always actually worked for Junior, his tenacity. Now of course this aggression did not work against George Groves, but that's because George was the absolute bollocks. He was way too smart and way too seasoned. But Conor Benn, with his short amateur career and kind of carefully crafted pro career, simply ain't George. And when he experienced the wrath of Junior, he just didn't have the answers. But as for Conor, he mentioned in the presser he felt he was too emotionally involved last time out, and he sat up there this time much more reserved and a lot less leery. I mean, if he'd have got another fucking egg in the face, that obviously would have changed things. But anyway, this tells us he's planning to be more controlled in the rematch, a bit less gun-ho, smarter, and maybe choosing his moments more wisely. Of course, that would be wise since the game plan last time didn't work, but will he be able to implement that on fight night after the ring walk, with the adrenaline pumping through him and standing opposite a bloke he pretty much hates? Well, it's kinda doubtful really, and more likely he'll resort to type. The problem Conor's got is obviously the power. His trademark bombs worked a treat on over-the-hill fellow welterweights like Algieri and Van Heerden, but it just weren't enough against a fully fledged middleweight, even when he did catch him bang on target a good few times. Okay, Chris wobbled a little bit on one of them, but straight away he regained composure. So if that's your main strength, but ultimately that don't work, then what more can you do? It's not just his power though, because on top of that, Junior's got a brilliant chin. I know it let him down once against Liam Smith, but still he's finished every fight on his feet and he has the heart of a lion. In a nutshell, it's just a big ask for Conor to clean this man out. For me, the only way he turns this around is if he's all of a sudden become much more accustomed to the weight now, and he comes in stronger and more powerful than last time. But is just over 6 months enough time to do that? That is the question. But I will say one thing, he has been preparing better than Chris to this point. He was back in the gym setting his sights on the rematch being in September, when Chris knew full well he was going to prolong it out to November instead. And in the meantime, old Junior's looked to be living the good life as he does, jet setting here, there and everywhere, playing fucking snap with Neymar and all that. So will he be playing a bit of catch up? Did he temporarily take his eye off the ball? I suppose we'll only know come fight night. Anyway, it was cracking last time and it's already cracking again this time. I'm all in myself. Let me know how you see the fight going below, and check out Pure Black Edition and Daily Greens. Click the link in the comments and get £10 off for UK customers, 15% off for US. Big up Pure, the Black Edition and the Daily Greens. Adios for now.